There is new gun control legislation on YouTube. YouTube announced in the wake of all these mass shootings that you've been hearing about, we've been reporting on, they announced that they will, quote, ban videos that promote or link to websites selling firearms and accessories, including bump stocks, which allow semi-automatic rifles to fire faster. Additionally, YouTube said that it will prohibit videos with instructions on how to assemble firearms. The video site, owned by Google, has faced intense criticism for hosting videos about guns, bombs, and other deadly weapons, according to one report. What do you guys think? Thoughts, 5 words or less?
This is on target.
In a tricky place?
Bullseye.
Don't stick to your guns. You know what I mean? What do you think about this? Good idea, bad idea?
Well, I think it's a pretty obvious idea. Definitely, I'm not surprised that this took place. You know, let's remember that YouTube has been cracking down on content that receives its AdSense and its ad money for quite some time. As a queer creator with a YouTube channel, I'm aware of this.
Did you see like a marked difference over time?
No, I've been pretty fortunate in that I haven't seen one, but I keep up with a lot of queer creators, and so I'm familiar with a lot of videos being demonetized, and there are a lot of, there's a more complex reasoning for it. But I think what's interesting is that you're seeing different demographics be targeted, and each time it happens, there is this like outrage and like, this is so unfair. And I'm like, yeah, YouTube is allowed to do this. They're totally allowed to do this, and if you don't like it, you can move to Pornhub. And you're not and what I like about this is that I'm able to call these, you know, there are creative ways to get around this. So if you have a gun channel, then you can still talk about ways to use this firearm and do it in a responsible way if you want to keep that ad money. But if you want to have your sponsorships, then you're gonna have to move over to Pornhub. And I just like that we're like all these like queer sex education creators and all that stuff are now like sort of in the same circle as these guys with like their firearms and be like, we're all just some fairies that YouTube doesn't like, you know? And I think that's fun. Maybe we have a commonality, right?
Yeah.
You're just gay too.
I feel like companies and corporations like YouTube, Dick's, Walmart, they're in a tricky place because they are trying to navigate where they stand on this. And if they take a stand, you know, they're gonna lose a certain customer base. And if they don't take a stand, then they're also gonna maybe lose a certain customer base and people are just gonna be angry about it. That being said, at first I didn't know if this was really fair to people who are responsible gun owners, you know? People that actually are just curious about different guns and different things about guns. But then I thought more about it and I thought, okay, well, what if they did this in conjunction with people having to take a gun safety class instead? You know, I think if you are new to guns, you probably shouldn't be YouTubing how to put it together and maybe take a gun safety class. So I think overall this is gonna be good. But I hope that people and hopefully, you know, places that do sell guns in conjunction with this put something into place so that people are more willing and want to take a gun safety course.
I agree with you 100%, Daron. What we're picking up from this is that YouTube is taking initiative to do something to bring awareness to gun violence and gun safety, right? So we're always asking the question, what can we do? After Parkland, after Vegas, we sat here on the show and said we feel helpless because we feel like we couldn't do something. And we're always looking for, see, the universe also feels like YouTube is doing something good.
Something fell off the table, get over it.
Yeah. But they're doing something. And something's better than nothing.
I think also public perception in the wake of Parkland has totally shifted. We're seeing for actually the first time in history, the perception of the NRA nationally, NBC did a poll, is in the red basically. And so I think that on top of YouTube trying to do something good, they're also recognizing that the money and the popularity is not on the side of the NRA right now in this moment in history. So I think they're also capitalizing on this. But that said, let's not forget that the restrictions that they're putting on videos about firearms it's not like a totalitarian sort of thing. There's just certain things that you're not allowed to do, but there are still plenty of creative ways to have that AdSense money on your videos so you can continue creating if firearm videos is something that you feel really passionate about and that you have an audience for that. I think that it's just a matter of putting the onus a little bit on these creators of instead of just like making angry tweets and being like, I'm taking all these snowflakes, I'm taking them to why am I putting an accent on? That's tacky. I'm taking my audience to Facebook or something, which I saw a lot of people doing. You can still create that on YouTube. You still have that platform, but you have to follow their guidelines. Join the party.
Can you touch on Pornhub though? Because I know when I'm looking at my orgy videos on Pornhub, I don't want to have a gun ad come on right before Sean Cody.
In the wake of this, there were some specific Facebook.
can't.
Now that's all I'm thinking about. There were some specific YouTube channels that had some more effect on them than others. One was banned, and then they thought it was because they were told because it incited people to direct violence. That YouTube channel was reinstated, and YouTube itself said that was kind of a mistake. And then another one, Grace mentioned it, Jason's mentioning it. Another one was like, screw it, I'm going to Pornhub. Now, YouTube used to be the place you just put stuff, and you could see anything, really anything, unless it was actual porn. That was like the first one, and people would put like, they'd name things like boobs and nipples. Those folks would they'd get 20 million views in an early time of YouTube when like 100,000 views was amazing. They would get 20 million views, and it would there was one I remember specifically, it was just a stormtrooper going, and that was it. There was a lot of that. People got more and more upset, and now there's rules against it.
Right.
And now it's not just porn that you can't have, and that group, as the slow, lazy-ish like advertisers are starting to be like, oh, I know what this internet stuff is now. They're like, oh my God, I shouldn't just be advertising and giving the same amount to someone who is, posting something misleading that ends up getting certain viewers as I am to someone who is actually targeted toward what I want to advertise around.
I mean, what we're seeing right now also is that creators want to find what is the next Wild West of the internet. For a while, it was YouTube, and it was a way to make a lot of money if you could figure out those algorithms pretty quickly, tag your videos the right way, title them the right way, clickbait, all that stuff. Now we're sort of moving away from that. It's a lot trickier to make a living as a creator, especially as an independent creator on YouTube. So people are going to Twitch. We're seeing that pop off. We're seeing people try and do more stuff on YouNow, more stuff on what were we just on Pornhub. And what's
the difference? The difference is, and it's started with like Patreon, the difference is whether you are going to rely on someone else's ad team to finance you versus whether you're relying on your fans to finance you. And that's the thing, because all YouTube is trying to pivot more toward like a TV model. They want to be Time Warner. They want to be DirecTV. And in the wake of that, and it used to be like you would just try to go get eyeballs on it because YouTube's selling ads on your general video stuff. Now it's more like, maybe I'll just go to my fans, and if they give me $5 a month on Twitch, and I get to play video games for 6 hours. My wife, that's all she watches now is Jen and Julian playing freaking PUBG. Amazing. I'm afraid I'm gonna get addicted. Anyways, that was a lot. Thank you guys.